Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United at the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast in association with Lucky Star Gin. I'm your host, Mike, and if you're a regular listener, you're very, very welcome back. Thank you very much. If you're new, hopefully you'll stick around and enjoy the rest of the show and beyond. It does go on every week, forever and ever. But I'm joined today by David and Neil. Don't forget, we do like all the engagement. We like the sharing, the liking, the thumbs ups, and all the rest of it on social media. It's at Sutton Podcast on all of them. Boost my ego. I love it. And thank you to everyone who already does that. David, we'll start with you. How are you?
Very well, Mike. How are you?
I'm always good. Always good. And are you UK or are you Spain at the moment?
Yeah, I'm in Madrid at the moment, Mike.
You're in Madrid.
Yeah.
What's the weather?
Cold.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, cold but sunny today.
Oh, yeah,
But
not too dissimilar. It was quite sunny here as well. But Neil, how are you? How's all the driving? How's all the how's life?
Life is fine, so feel very, very satisfied that now got my daughter finally grown up and established and has her own house. So, but the best thing is it now gives me a fabulous northern outpost on which to base away travel. So if we got relegated to the National League South, that would be a disaster. But if we maintain our place in the National League for this year or get promoted, then it's a good base. But there are certain teams now that I want to come down or get promoted up. So like Fylde have got to come up from the National League North because she literally lives about 5 miles down the road. So that would be perfect if they came up.
So there you go, boys. Never mind about anything else. Just you have to maintain or get promoted just to make Neil's life easier. That's what needs to happen.
Well, I get to see more Sutton, so you know.
I'm sure Aggie will be in the changing room. Come on, boys, let's do it for Neil. So it's getting all a bit boring now, isn't it? I mean, another game, another win. But before that, just very, very quickly, good luck to Henry Sandat, who's left us. Obviously didn't get to do an awful lot with us, but as always, appreciate the efforts he did do, but very good luck to him. Neil, sticking with you, what were your thoughts going into the game? And were there any surprises in the lineup for you? Obviously, the last minute change, but were there any other surprises in the lineup?
Aside from the last minute change, no, it's what I expected. The hints were there. Perhaps we might have seen Ashley on the bench or not, but obviously he wasn't quite as fit as possibly. So lineup not no surprises. As for the result, just being the typical pessimist that I am, I thought, all good things have to come to the end. So I was thinking it might be a tricky draw.
Well, somebody here last week said we were going to win 4-2. I'm just putting it out there that I got the result right. Didn't get the goal scorer, but I got the result right. David, what were you thinking before the match? What were your expectations, and what did you think of the lineup?
Well, I was feeling very optimistic actually. I had a kind of quiet confidence about the game. The only query I had about the line is what happened to the Wimbledon guy who joined on loan, Osman Foyo.
Not sure. He wasn't in the last couple. I think he must have picked up something, but I've not.
Yeah, because I thought because he started the last game, and so I
Yeah.
kind of assumed he would this, and he's only here for a short while anyway. So I kind of figured he'd be in the team, or at least in the as
Yeah,
a
there must
sub. But
be.
he wasn't either. So I wonder whether he is. I don't know. Do we know if he's injured or if he's left or if he's?
I haven't heard either. I'm assuming that it would be an injury, but I'm not.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
sure.
He did play for their under-21s in midweek, apparently, on the forum. And apparently you can still play.
No, I think you're talking about Noah Botan.
No. It was talking about Osman because somebody were querying that he's gone back. And then somebody said, he played for their under-21s, so therefore, but apparently you can, under some loan agreements, depending on the age or the status of the player.
I'll be honest, I skimmed that and I thought that was about Noah Botan.
Yeah, or I could have misread it. So so that was my reading on it.
So that was the only mini surprise before the game. I mean, apart from that, it looks we're kind of to a point now where I think the team is beginning to look. It's becoming reasonably predictable. I mean, I think there's back in the day, a few months back or a few weeks back, there was a kind of, I think, 6 or 7 positions which were not clear. I think it's flipped, and we've got 7 or 8 now, which I think there's a definite first choice.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a bit more predictable now. Like, I think we know who's going to be playing at centre back. We know who's going to be playing just in front of the central partnership in midfield. So I think there's a lot more stability in the team, which might be one of the reasons that we're doing so well.
Yeah, it's one of those self-serving things. Is the more people play together, the better they're going to be. But while you're trying to find the winning formula, you got to keep changing it around to find it. So, I mean, one big call was Jack coming in. I know he played in the under-21 game against Southampton the other day, but Tommy's obviously he's not done anything overly wrong, but Jack is our goalkeeper and Tommy's on loan, so I can kind of see that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, Chris has said this himself. The first 20, 25 minutes was flat. How were you feeling sort of at the first sort of half hour or so of the match? We conceded a goal. We weren't playing overly well. How were you feeling at that point, David?
Yeah, the first 15, 20 minutes or so was that there was a little bit of it was a little bit reminiscent of some of the early games in the season where we felt a little bit open, particularly going down down our right hand side. It felt as if we were a bit open and a bit slightly flat as a performance. Not terrible, but just a bit flat. And them having scored early, it kind of somewhat seemed to knock us for a while. But even when they scored, I was feeling confident. This team has a different feel to how it had a few weeks ago. So it didn't feel like a mortal blow getting a goal conceded after 5 minutes. Whereas I think a few weeks or months ago, we would have all been getting anxious from minute 6. So I still felt confident that we would get back in the game and probably do well, despite that. And then it picked up significantly with the goal, and then after the goal, everything got a lot better.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a strange kind of atmosphere because, as I joked around earlier, it's getting a bit boring now. But there's an expectation when you head into matches that we're going to win. So, Neil, how were you feeling in that sort of early stages of the game when we were goal down and not playing as we know we can?
This is the problem that I have speaking about the match, which is partly what, as I alluded to before we started recording, was that normally when I can't get to the game, I switch off all of my devices. I wait for the live stream to go at 5:15, so I watch the match live, knowing. But the wonderful DAZN basically didn't post it till the live stream till about 9:30 at night.
All right.
So therefore, I knew the result.
You get to watch it slightly differently then.
Yeah, so I got to watch it not the way that I normally choose to when I can't actually be at the game, but just looking at it without knowing the result. They didn't do much wrong. That was a cracking opening goal, so you have to give sort of full credit. That was, that was one of those that 9 times out of 10 the guy turns and it goes into row Z. if we had a rosette behind the goal at that end. So, yeah, they did look a little bit, passes weren't going astray. They didn't look as smooth or as slick, but there didn't seem to be that much. There didn't seem to be that much wrong. It just wasn't quite clicking. And as the time progressed, around about sort of the 20-25 minute mark, the passes started finding their target. They seemed to be going forward with a little bit more pace. And you sort of felt, you could see a goal was potentially coming, which was exactly what happened.
Well, on that goal, watching it there live, you just thought for a split second, what's Jayden doing? That ball was not meant for him at all. Obviously, you knew he'd scored, but did it look different? Did you think, oh, that's great anticipation? But obviously, my thought of Jayden, what are you doing, lasted about half a second. But how was the goal for you? I know it came, and I know it was a great goal from Jayden. But what did you feel at that point, Neil?
Having looked at it multiple times, I think he meant it. I think that actually was a definite glancing head.
Oh no, Jayden meant it, but I don't think the ball was meant for Jayden.
No, but he's a big guy to get the ball over. So therefore, if he's there, it's very hard to actually.
Fair enough.
Get a ball
Fair enough. When I was watching, I was like, that clearly was meant for him because the ball was at a totally wrong pace to be meant for him. I thought, obviously, I don't play, as we all know. But David, what did you think watching that?
Well, just start by saying I was watching it live. Sorry, Neil, but I was watching it on DAZN in Spain live. So there's no delay out here. It's shown at 3:00 UK time.
Yeah.
So yeah, the goal. No, I think he meant it. I think it was a great goal, and I'm going to assume that the cross was intended as well because I think why not?
Why not? Exactly. It went in.
Exactly.
It scored.
And had he not, and let's also assume that had he not headed it, it would have curled in the top corner anyway. So
absolutely. When it all came through to half time, Chris was very, very gracious in his interview about his halftime team talk, where he told the boys that don't worry, just keep the ball, make them run. You don't need to worry about getting frustrated if we don't score until later on. And then 5 minutes later, we scored 2. How were you feeling? Obviously, Simps with his little tap in and Jayden with another great goal. How were you feeling at this point, David? Were you like, oh, this is it, done, let's just blow up the whistle and go home?
No. No. There's far too many minutes to go before you start thinking that. And 3-1 is not a apps. No. I don't think the game was dead then. As it turned out not to be. But no, the goal was fantastic. I mean, the Lewis Simper goal was absolutely fantastic. I mean, brilliant. It's just fantastic. I think also what you can see is that in the ground, and we've all been in the ground many times, and like you can feel the energy and the kind of happiness and seeing a bit of play, some passing, some moving, some goals, some action. It's just we've been a bit impoverished over the last year or two, really, honestly, at home for kind of genuine joyful moments. And so there's plenty of that. I thought for a minute the Jayden goal was not going to go. I thought he fluffed it with the first shot, and happily he got a second bite at the cherry. Yeah. But having got to 3-1, no, I didn't think it was all over. No.
Well, Lewis doesn't need much encouragement to be shooting, and he does love it. But I think every time he gets the ball anywhere near the penalty area now, Neil, everyone's going to be shoot, and he does love a goal against Gateshead. Again, you were knowing the match, but how were you feeling at the 2-1? Were you like, are we looking good here?
Well, what I didn't know was how good a goal it was. So that was, that was, and it was a beautiful build-up as well. It's yet another one. We are scoring every week these goals from the back with multiple passes, and it was just a superb shot that ended up a superb meal. Superb build-up. There was just so much to love about it. So it was like a cake cherry on top. Perfection. And as for the Jayden one, I was really cross that he didn't put it in first time, because that again was another 12 pass move. So that one deserved it to go in first time.
You can't expect perfection every time. It'd be boring. But yeah, Alison said on Twitter that is it just me, or do I feel like every time the Junior passes the ball to Lewis, there's going to be a goal in defence? Fair do. He had another great game as well, Junior. I'm saying they all had a good game. It's not fair to pick.
It's funny because yesterday I thought I'd be professional about the podcast. So I was making some notes during the game yesterday, and I started writing down like a review of each player, and I got to they're all 11 are on there. So we could probably just kind of cut the names and just say that everybody played really well. I mean, it was from after the first 15 odd minutes or so, but after that, it looked really, really complete as a performance. And the players, I mean, I was seriously impressed. I thought that Jennings was fantastic. I think that Jake Taylor's brought something definitely to the team. Like, he's doing a lot of stuff which is maybe not quite so showbiz as the Lewis goal, but a lot of covering and simple passing and opening up the play and closing down the opposition, and I thought the back two looked fantastic. So really, I could go through the whole team. Although everybody played, I thought Critchlow did very well holding the ball up many times, where that's been a bit of a problem, I think, in some recent games where the ball goes up and it kind of pings right back again. And I think he managed, despite being fairly small, he managed to kind of battle away and keep the ball up and create some links. And that was really, so basically all of them played, terrific football, I thought, really.
Yeah, Kane was obviously mentioned in the post-match because he hasn't played for quite a while for various reasons, and it's not his natural game to be holding the ball up and doing that kind of job. He's supposed to be running in behind. He's quick. I did actually have Jake to talk about, and you've covered some of the questions anyway there, David. But Neil, if you could jump in on Jake, the midfield obviously we're doing really well for midfield. The goals from yesterday show that. But how much credit are you going to give to Jake for going? You boys go off and do that, and I'll do this bit.
He's doing the dirty work. He's allowing the others to be so good. So without him, Lewis Simper, Junior, Faz, Critchlow, whatever, would not be able to play as the way that they are playing. So you cannot underestimate how good he is in the centre of the field. He's giving us that stability, and everybody else is confident that he's going to get the ball. He's going to cut it out.
Yeah, it's been a type of player for years. I mean, I know Eric Cantona was really scathing of Didier Deschamps because he called him a water carrier. But the French national team were like, yeah, we need someone to do that because without that, you can't do what you need to do. And as far back as the 66 World Cup, that was Alpha Ansem to Nobby Stiles. Win the ball, give it to someone better. It's always needed. Just a quickie, obviously, Dom Telford scored his typical goal off the post. I think it actually was weird because it was recorded they'd only had 2 shots on target, and because that one came back off the post, I don't think it counts as a shot on target because it obviously came off the post and he scored from the rebound. But on Simo, his dad was in the bar afterwards going, I don't remember Jack having a save to make. I was like, we conceded 2 goals. That's not exactly a boast, is it? But how did Jack do for you, Neil, on his return?
I thought that he was very good. There were a couple of wayward back passes that he had to come out very, very quickly to, and he's fast. His distribution was very good. You realise how good his kicking game is, and also he's got a heck of a throw on him. So there are a couple of thrown distributions that set us up to very quickly attack. So he seems to be, got the confidence of the back 4 as well, or back 3, or how many we're playing at the back end at any particular time. So I don't feel as scared with the ball being passed around at the back as I did with Tommy Reid, I have to say.
And for you, David, how was Jack on his? Well,
yeah, very good.
Southampton, obviously, it wasn't his first return, but league action.
I thought it was very good. I think there might have been one or two nervy moments. There was one nervy moment when he got a bad back pass, had to come chasing out. He did that really well. And I think he also made a pass where it kind of nobbled and bobbled a bit, and it kind of came chest high to one of the defenders. And I think that wasn't quite intended, but overall, very, very good, I thought. And it makes a lot of sense that he's back in goal because he's the number one. I mean, he's the permanent squad member, and it doesn't make sense for him not to be back playing number one.
No.
As far as I can see.
No,
And
absolutely.
he's good. I mean, in terms of also the distribution, the passing, that's all good. But he's a great. I've always thought he's a very good shot stopper, and he's got good presence.
Yeah.
So
he's moved into that moany goalkeeper stage of his career where he will tell people when they've done something wrong. So at stages last year, he wasn't necessarily doing that, but like things like the bad back pass, you saw him straight away afterwards once he dealt with it, and letting them know what he thought of it. But on to another Jack. You guys have had the benefit of replays. There was a lot of talk in the ground that was offside. I don't think it was because obviously the linesman didn't put the flag up and the referee didn't blow for it, so clearly it can't have been offside. But David, talk us through Messi Taylor, the fourth goal. He's
got this. He's got a fantastic the tool in his toolbox, which he's using really well at the moment. I guess it's all part of the game plan. Is this kind of power run out the back with the ball? So it's sort of a little bit like it. I think people on this podcast we're old enough to remember Alan Hansen, but he's got that kind of capacity to bring the ball out, and it gives us another attacking option, a way to kind of create something and go past one or two players. And he's got a very, very kind of it makes it look very easy, and it's not. And the goal yesterday, the goal in the 95th minute, was it 97th minute?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. No, it was fantastic. I mean, because he had a long way to go, and he cut across the defender beautifully. And you had that gone wrong from the defender's point of view, it would have been a penalty. But he took the goal like a number 9. Fantastic. And it was great, because I think we're all kind of expecting to kind of run the ball into the corner, but he just decided to take him on and score. It's fantastic.
I think that's what
great moment. And he's doing tremendously well for us. I mean, he's since he came to the team, I don't know, is it a few months ago now? Is it a few months? Yeah, it was.
No, Jack basically been in the team all season.
Yeah, but a few months going back into last season as well, wasn't it?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, a few calendar months. He's back to.
Yeah.
So I think he's made that position his own, and he looks completely accomplished, and he looks like a kind of one of the first of those 6 or 7 players that are going to be on the team sheet every week. He's one of them, I think.
Yeah, I think Agim also made the point that he expected him to go into the corner with the ball as well, so it came as a surprise when he cut across. But Neil, the defender did try to push him. But
he gave him a push, a forward.
He's a strong boy as well.
So. Yeah.
But what did you feel about the goal? I mean, again, you knew he scored, but you didn't necessarily know what kind of goal it was.
Well, again, I presumed it was a header from a corner, so that's what I anticipated. I did not expect the gazelle-like run from his own penalty area right the way down the pitch. But sadly, Ryan Deeney, who's the non-league expert on Not the Top 20 podcast, wrote an article earlier in the week about the 5 players most likely to be picked up in January. And he made the comment about Jack Taylor is now growing into his body and gaining that physicality, but really he needs to work on driving with the ball out of defence, because that's obviously a talent that he's got. And 4 days, he must have read the article, so 4 days later he drove out the back, but this time he carried on the whole distance. And you do have to bear in fact that he is still playing on the wrong side. He's more naturally, because he's right-footed, he's a right back, yet he's playing as a left back out of his natural position. Obviously Chris has seen what he feels suits the team, and his attacking, that wasn't his only run like that. He was doing it throughout the match. So it was a very, very good defensive, but it was very much a good attacking sort of performance from him as well.
Yeah, I think it was Pruti was playing on the left-hand side of the three, and where we've now switched him to be in the centre, where he's been absolutely amazing. That means someone moves around a little bit, and it's those little shifts that, again, we sit there not really paying much attention until suddenly, oh my God, this is working. What happened there? How did that happen? Overall, again, when you're there, when you're watching it, you don't always feel this way, but walking away from it, I felt actually that was quite comfortable. I know we let in 2 goals, but I felt it was quite comfortable. What about you, Neil? Did you feel it was comfortable in the end, or?
If it wasn't for their keeper, it would have been 7-2. You know, we could have had 6 or 7. It was that good. So, Lewis could have had a hat trick. Kai could have had one. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I lost count of the number of shots. All the different analysis had various numbers of shots on target, number of shots. So it varied from DAZN had us like having 11 shots to I think FOTMob had us having 17 shots. But there are an awful lot of shots on target.
And David, again, the point was made that Gateshead try and keep possession of the ball, and we dominated them on the possession stats. I know, again, some of these don't mean an awful lot because you can dominate possession and lose, but we kept the ball and kept them chasing after it. Did you feel it was comfortable when you were watching?
Reasonably comfortable.
Yeah.
I think after their second goal, there was a 10 minutes or so where I think we all would have felt a little bit edgy. 3-1's a lot better than 3-2. And of course you do start thinking, well, it only needs one, throw in one free kick, one corner, and we're in a bit of bother again. But overall, pretty comfortable, I'd say.
Yeah.
So
we've mentioned a couple of times, obviously, we conceded 2. Is there still a defensive concern, or are we kind of accepting of, no, we're going for this attacking, we're going to score more than you? Do you wish we would tighten it up, or even if that means something is lost from the attacking side? Or are you quite happy for the high risk, high reward kind of approach to the game? David,
Neil?
sorry.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get perfection. So, I mean, of course, in an ideal world, you'd be unbelievably watertight at the back, incredibly powerful going forward with tons of creativity, with goals coming from all over the pitch. But I mean, I think this is not like AC Milan of the 1990s or the Barcelona team of Pep. So, I mean, within the context of the squad we've got, it's looking really good, I think. And of course, we're going to concede some goals. The defense, other teams are good as well. I mean, we're not playing against the local under 12s. We're playing against proper National League teams, so we will concede goals. That's inevitable, of course. But what's looking good now is we actually look like we can score them. And when we attack, there's some threat. And also, I like a lot that the threat's coming from different places. It's not we don't just have one tool in the toolbox. So we're not just kind of lobbing it into a 6'4" centre forward. We're not just relying on Jack Taylor bringing it out from the back. We're getting there's threats in various places, and I like that a lot. So I'm pretty encouraged by everything, really. But of course, we'll concede goals, and we're not perfect. But I don't think we should get too uptight about that. As long as we're scoring more than we're conceding. Of course, if you're going, I think what has happened is the defense has got a lot tighter. If you're going to concede 3-4 goals every day, every match, it's very, very difficult to win. And I think that's kind of what Chris was alluding to in his interviews, that you can't keep on. We had those various in extremis kind of 3-2s, and if you're going to keep on conceding 3 goals in a game, it's very difficult. That puts a lot of pressure on your forward play. But at the moment, I'd say the balance looks pretty good.
Yeah.
What do you think?
From purely mercenary point of view, churning out 1-0 wins, 2-1 wins, doesn't draw in the crowds. When you start posting up results of 4-3, 4-2, 3-2s, people are going to go, oh, there's goals down at Sutton. Let's go and have a little look. What about yourself, Neil? What do you feel? Do you feel it's the high risk, high reward is worth it, or would you rather it be tightened up?
I don't think we've got the skill to shut up top, go for a 0-0 and catch one goal to win the match. So we can't do an Arsenal of old. So I think it just seems to be, we've seemed to have just about got the balance so that the defence is tight enough and able to distribute the ball well enough so that they give us opportunities for the midfield and the forwards to score. So, it's taken 11. What's Aggie? Oh no, Aggie's had eight league games in effect now. So, and he's producing the results. The team obviously are now fit enough, fast enough, and are getting what the formula is, and they're getting better at executing it, which is why we're now looking, as David said, relatively more comfortable than we were.
Right. And one other sort of talking point from the match itself, the amazing debut of George coming on with his 33 seconds to go. Unbelievably, and I was standing near someone who was like, what? He gets his match appearance bonus, so enjoy spending that, George. He has said he hopes to play a little bit more than 30 seconds next time. But again, what do you feel about that kind of prospect, Neil? Another player from the academy coming through. We've got a few already. We've got Charlie done well this season. Junior has obviously secured himself a spot. Jack, as we've already discussed. We've got James Fenlow. We've got various different players coming through, and George looks like another one.
The academy is amazing. It's like a conveyor belt of talent at the moment, and they're not playing just for the sake of playing them. They're playing because they're good enough on merit. So that is a phenomenal pat on the back to all the work that's been put into the academy over the last, we've had an academy for quite a while, but it's obviously what's happened over the last 3 or 4 years. Charlie Bell, if there weren't players that are potentially better than him, Charlie Bell would be starting. He's good enough. Junior now, I can't see how you can't play Junior because he is so good. I can't see how you can't play Jack Taylor. And hopefully, George and some of the others, when they get a chance, we will find that they are really very, very good.
I mean, in the hospitality yesterday, Chris did a little pre-match chat, and he said that in an ideal world, you would love to have a team of players coming through the academy, all living with like 20 minutes, 30 minutes of the ground, all Sutton, all knowing what it means. He goes, obviously, I can't promise we'll ever get to do that. He said, but that would be a fantastic achievement. And then he went on to say that he, as Neil just said, he's not just putting them in the side for the fun of it, because at the end of the day, this is his job. If he doesn't get results, he's not going to be able to point and go, but I've played this many academy players. It's going to be, well, you're not getting the results. So the fact he's doing it, he is high praise, David, to the academy. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, I don't know exactly how many are in the academy and all of that, but I've heard Jimmy Dack talk about it, and it's great. I mean, a club like Sutton, which is a small club with a limited budget, it just couldn't. It has to make sense to try and find local players and try and get them into the first team, and then they'll be good enough to play for Sutton for many years, or they'll be good enough to go and be sold on to someone else. But the basic idea of getting young players at an early stage it's got to make sense. And I think particularly now, because the way that non-league football has evolved, as far as I can see, is that essentially contracts become shorter and shorter term. The turnover of players is to such extent, the revolving door now is so fast that sometimes even keen followers like us, we can't keep up with who's in the team and who's in the squad, because as soon as they've arrived, they've gone again. Contracts have become almost, I think, exclusively 1 or 2 years as a norm. So if you're going to get any kind of continuity at all, you've got to try and build some kind of base. And that might be 2, 3, 4 players that are in the first team that have come from the academy or something. There has to be something where you can recognise the team from one year to the next. Because otherwise I see that as a big issue for clubs like us and most non-league teams really, which is you're forever you're changing the team basically every single year, and that's difficult, as
Yeah.
we've been seeing in the last year or two. We've had, I mean, you could play a game now, which would be, well, not now exactly, but you could sit and say, okay, name the players that have played for Sutton over the last 2 years from memory, and you would struggle to.
Absolutely.
If there's been that many, you'd struggle, and that lack of continuity can't help.
Absolutely not. And again, with a mercenary hat on, internal players and appointments are often cheaper than bringing someone in. So it's from the financial money side as well. It's always better, because I remember Gary Neville saying he sometimes didn't even read the contract they put in front of him. He just signed it. He was just delighted to be there. It's like, oh, that's what you need, a player who just goes, okay, well, you fill in the figures afterwards. It's fine. But ahead of yesterday, I did say a couple of times that had everything gone perfectly for us, we could be as high as 16th by the end of the day. We got to be 17th, which, when you think just a few weeks ago we were bottom of the league. Unbeaten in November, which is obviously fantastic. 3 home wins in the league on the bounce. And Aggie hasn't lost at home. I know he's only lost 1 game, and the West Ham game doesn't count as a loss. That's a draw. But do you feel, David, first of all, is Gander Green Lane turning into a fortress? And do we feel that we can stop looking down now?
No and no.
Okay, fair enough. Why do you feel we're not?
Well, look, in terms of fortress, I don't really believe all that stuff. I mean, I think that you're as good as your last game. This is a results industry, so I mean, if in the same way that we've won a few games on the trot, if we lose a few games on the trot, things can change very quickly. So we've all seen that, how it's worked in our favor in the last few weeks. So I think the ground has got a much better atmosphere than it had before. The energy is much better. Chris, I think Agatha has brought a much better energy into the club at every level, and it's palpable. I think it all feels a lot more fun. The interviews he does are lighter. There's more energy, and you can see it. And I think you can see the players are enjoying it more. The crowd's enjoying it more. So if that helps it to become a fortress, then fantastic. I don't think it's important to think about whether it's a fortress or not. I think you just need to turn up every game and play well. And in terms of the second point about are we looking up rather than down, I think we should just concentrate on the next 3 points. I don't think we don't want to worry too much about where we are in the league and how we're doing and all that stuff. I think the simple fact is we need probably 52 to 53 points to avoid relegation. And that's a long way to go. I mean, there's a lot of points to be gained yet. So I think we're far off the point where we need to start talking about playoffs and whether we could squeeze into the top 7 and all that. I think if we're having this conversation at the beginning of April, then, let's have that conversation. But right now, we don't even have any we've got 1 more league game, I think, before the end of the year, isn't it?
2.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got Solihull on the 21st and Aldershot on the 26th.
Okay, yeah. So we've essentially got, maximum 6 points for an entire month. Mm-hmm. So I reckon we need to be heading into January, kind of just, building on what we've got, which is great. Yeah. What's been built by Chris so far is brilliant, but we just need to keep going. I think the danger is, if there's any danger at all, it might be that we actually start to kind of relax and think that, hey, we're doing really well now. We're kind of liking the look of this team. We're all feeling confident. I think there shouldn't be a single millimeter taken off the gas in terms of energy and effort. Fair
enough. You're going to hate some of the next questions because some of it you've already said we shouldn't be talking about, but we will be. Neil, what do you think? Do you think it's fortress? Do you think we can start looking up, or do you agree with David that it's all too early?
I think it's hard to say it's a fortress because it's such a good pitch. I think if you've got a good opponent, it allows them to play football. So it doesn't handicap our opponents. So we don't get any advantage from the pitch. Our results have improved, but I don't think it's ever going to be a fortress. I think you have to put Chris's tenure into context now. So he's been 8 matches. He's got 15 points. That's 1.875 points. That's only the top 5 teams are better than us. So we've got Chris potentially for 3/4 of the season. I don't believe that the team has actually plateaued. So I think their performances, the average performance of the team is still going to get better. So we potentially could end up with 2 points a game for the rest of the season. And that still means that we potentially could sneak into the edge of the playoffs, because the average number of points to do that over since COVID has been 70 points.
Right. Well, we're now, this is where I said Dave was going to start hating it. We're 17th and 3 points away from that dreaded line. But more important than the 3 points, I think there's 3 teams between us and the dreaded line, because even if the team in the relegation spots starts winning, you've got all these other teams that need to drop as well, need to do well as well. And we are now only 13 points behind Southend. They have a game in hand. It was the Eastleigh game that Claire and I were on, and Claire mentioned her emotional blackmail, and Aggie had said we're aiming for the playoffs, and this is when we were in basically bottom 23, 24, which, to be fair, we were just having a bit of fun. But now it's like, oh, hang on a minute, maybe the man was onto something. I get what you're saying, but there's got to be a bit of positivity, because I know, Neil, the figures you gave, they include those early games where things weren't doing it wasn't happening how Aggie wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So therefore, you would expect those results to start being better. But as David mentioned, we don't have a league game now for a few weeks. I think it's 3 weeks. I think it's the 21st, like I said. Do you, Neil, think that's a good thing or a bad thing that we've now got cup fever for the next couple of weeks? Or indifferent?
I don't think it makes a difference, because I think, Chris will look at it as it's another match. It's another match to carry on practicing the things that, that we need to improve on. We may win, we may not win. They're cup matches, so it wouldn't matter in the greater scope of things if we lost them, but he's going to go out and want to have success in both of those. I think his mentality is he wants to win every single match that's left. So he's still got the quadruple still on. Yeah,
he has said about the Surrey County as well. It's a trophy at the end of the day, and we've got that on Tuesday. We've got the FA Cup on Saturday, late kick-off that one, and then we got the trophy match, the one after against Walton. What about yourself, David? Do you think that the break from the league, especially as we're doing all right, is good, bad, or like Neil, indifferent?
Indifferent. I think it doesn't. I mean, I think all teams in the league are going to have the same kind of issues as this. I mean, it does seem very unevenly distributed, because we had a period where we were playing Saturday, Tuesday every week, and now we're hardly playing at all in the league for the whole of December. But hey, I guess that's going to happen to all teams at some point. Everyone's going to have that unevenness in the calendar, aren't they? So I don't think it really matters very much. I mean, we've got to get on with it as it is, and have got ourselves into a slightly better league position. I think we can go into the FA Cup tie with a little bit more optimism, and I think a little bit more relaxed about the whole thing, because we haven't got the tension of still being in relegation positions and injuries and worries about who's playing and who's not playing. So I think we can go for it and see if we can have a little bit of success in the FA Cup, which would be brilliant. A little run, maybe to the third or fourth, who knows, maybe fourth round, could be fantastic.
No, absolutely.
And I think, by the way, I like very much when the manager talks now about people playing in games, and because, I do think it seems to me that playing against a bunch of Premiership under-21 players must be a very good training session. I mean, if you just call it, it's probably better off doing than that. Have an easier training session and have a proper game. And I suspect that's more enjoyable for the players and probably more realistic and a better opportunity to really practice what you're trying to practice. So to me, that makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah, no,
we've got
the under
quite a big
21.
squad, as we've been told many times. We've got quite a big squad. So, having got a big squad, you may as well use it, no?
Yeah, he has trimmed it a bit.
Yeah.
With a few
Well, there's
loans.
been, I don't know if we're equal on numbers, but there's been 2 or 3 out, 2 or 3 in, no? So I'm not quite sure where we are. Are we a net up or net down?
I think we're net down. I think we might be 1 or 2 down. I haven't actually checked it. And again, we don't exactly know what Noah Bhutan's status is because he was on loan, but we haven't seen him for a couple of weeks, so don't know what's going on there. But I don't know if you play the prediction league or not, David, but
No.
we can ask for a prediction. So what do you feel is going to happen against Shrewsbury? We're not going to do the Surrey Senior Cup because, despite what Aggie says, it's not a first team fixture really, according to the FA. So we're going to look at the Shrewsbury match, or Shrewsbury, whichever you want to say. What do you think is going to be the scoreline?
3-1, home win.
To us, excellent, well done. Neil, obviously, same rules apply. You can always change it right up to kick-off. So whatever you say here, you can play a double bluff game. You can do what you like, but it's not going to go onto your score until you enter.
I've got a feeling that it's potentially going to go to extra time. So
you're going for a draw.
So I'm thinking 2 all in real time.
Okay.
And then I suspect, may not be any. We're quite good in added time these days and all that sort of thing. So I just wonder whether it might be a 120th minute one because, and our name's probably on the cup. We've had so much luck so far in the cup.
We win the FA Cup. Okay. Heard it here first, guys. That's another player who's left, Fipsy. So, yeah, he was when he got the 120th minute goal, wasn't it? I've gone for 3-2 because we seem to love high-scoring games. And I'm going to go with Lewis to score first. And AI has gone with David to score first and us to win 2-1. So everyone says a win except Neil, who said a draw. But we're going to wrap up this episode. As always, we appreciate everyone's attention and feedback. Follow, like, share this episode at Sutton Podcast on all socials. Subscribe on your preferred platform. Give me the thumbs up on YouTube. And I want to just give a big thank you to my sponsors, Lucky Star Gin. Big thank you to my guests, David and Neil. Thanks to you as well for listening. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of Sutton Podcast. Take care, and we'll catch up soon. Bye-bye.
United!